Welcome to AI ConvoCast, where we bring you the latest in AI and tech innovation. Please don't forget to rate, review, and share if you like what you hear. Let's jump right in.
Today we will be covering cybersecurity leaders pushing back on the US ban of Anthropic's most powerful models, Meta bringing AI mode to Facebook search using public posts, AWS rolling out new agentic developer tools and frontier team productivity claims, and a satellite running a Google DeepMind vision language model in orbit. Starting with the Anthropic story, a group of 76 cybersecurity executives and researchers published an open letter this week asking the U.S. government to lift export control directives on Anthropic's Fable and Mythos models. The signatories include some heavy hitters in the security world, names like Alex Stamos, Katie Mousouris, Rachel Toback, John Callis, and Paul Vixie. This is the follow-up to the June 12 directive that forced Anthropic to disable Fable 5 and Mythos 5 for all customers, in order to comply with an order targeting foreign national access. The twist here is that the security community is challenging the entire premise of the ban. Their argument is that similar bug-finding capabilities can already be replicated on GPT 5.5, Opus, Sonnet, and Chinese models like Kimi 2.7. So, pulling Anthropic's strongest models off the table doesn't actually stop attackers, it just leaves defenders with weaker tools. As the letter puts it, to pull the best capabilities away from defenders without a good reason is dangerous. Anthropic itself noted the government didn't give specific details about the concern, and that it had red-teamed Fable's safeguards for thousands of hours with government, UK AISI, third-party and internal teams, with no tester finding a universal jailbreak. The stakes here are real because this is shaping up to be a test case for how Washington handles frontier model access going forward. Moving on to Meta, the company rolled out a set of new Facebook AI tools led by something called AI Mode. It's a search tab powered by Meta AI that answers questions using public content across Meta apps, pulling from groups, reels, and posts. The pitch is essentially a social-flavored version of AI search. Instead of summarizing the open web, it summarizes what real people are saying. Meta frames it as giving users real perspectives and experiences, rather than a generic list of search results. That framing is appealing for things like local recommendations, fandom chatter, or community knowledge, but it also imports the messiness of public posts directly into AI-generated answers. TechCrunch flagged the obvious concern that summaries of group chatter can be outdated, misleading, or hard to verify. Meta says AI Mode is powered by its Muse Spark model and grounded in public posts across its apps. Alongside that, Facebook added creative tools including camera roll collage suggestions, transition effects, and photo presets that can swap out clothing, hair, and accessories. Meta noted the camera roll sharing suggestions remain opt-in and can be turned off, which is worth knowing given the sensitivity around photo access. Next up, AWS published its weekly roundup highlighting a batch of agent-focused launches, and the framing is what stands out. AWS is pushing the idea that agents only create value when teams actually restructure how they work, not just when they bolt a coding assistant onto existing workflows. Swami Sivasubramanian's post on Frontier Teams claims that hundreds of internal Amazon engineering experiments produced a median 4.5 times productivity gain, with some teams clearing 10 times. The headline anecdote is a 6-engineer Bedrock team that reportedly delivered in 76 days a project originally scoped for 30 developers over 12 to 18 months. His clean takeaway line was, "The workflow matters, not just the tool," which captures why agent adoption is increasingly an org design problem rather than a tooling problem. On the product side, AWS launched FinOps Agent in preview. It can answer cost questions, generate reports, surface right-sizing and idle resource recommendations, open Jira tickets, investigate anomalies, and post findings into Slack. It's free during preview in the Virginia region. AWS also added Google's Gemma 4 models to Bedrock, with reasoning, native function calling, multimodal input, and support for more than 35 languages. With the New York Summit keynote coming on June 17, focused on developer tools, AI infrastructure, and security, AWS is clearly building toward a bigger agent push. Finally, a genuinely novel one. TechCrunch reported that Loft Orbital's YAM-9 satellite ran Google DeepMind's Gemma 3 vision language model directly in orbit using a NASA JPL software package called Navi Orbital. Researchers were able to query the satellite using natural language to identify areas of interest, like classifying scenes where natural environments meet human development, or picking out infrastructure around railway hubs. The demo actually took place back in April, but was just reported this week. YAM-9 launched in fall 2025 as a Pathfinder and carries an NVIDIA Jetson Orin AGX GPU on board. The implication here is a real shift in how satellites operate. Today, raw imagery typically gets beamed down to Earth where humans or ground systems sort through it. Running a vision language model on board means the satellite itself can decide what matters and only flag the relevant data. That dramatically cuts bandwidth needs and shortens response time for things like disaster response, infrastructure monitoring, border surveillance, agriculture, and climate observation. JPL's Juan Delfa Victoria led the Navi orbital work, with engineers stripping down the package to fit the tight memory and library constraints of running in space. Loft estimates a real-time global coverage constellation would need somewhere between 50 and 100 satellites like YAM-9. They currently operate 12, so the path to always-on AI-powered orbital monitoring is visible, even if it's still a ways off.
Thank you for listening to AI Convo Cast. Please don't forget to rate, review, and share if you like what you hear. Thanks and hope to see you again next time.